What's going on? What's going on? This is Wealth Wednesdays, and this is the Broke Genius. Going to be talking about financial inadequacies. Okay, so a financial inadequacy is basically you're financially inadequate. Whether poverty is less than $14,000 a year. A single um, person is about $14,000 a year. If you make $14,000 a year, you're in poverty. Okay. And working class is above the 14,000 up till you could just say about $30,000 a year. Okay, that is working class. Usually, that's they call it the working poor. Then you got middle class is 30 to as high as even you want to say about 70, $80,000 a year. It's like middle class, and then above that is upper middle class, which is about 90, roughly 90 to 100,000, close to $200,000. That's like upper middle class. Then you got upper class is like pretty much. I would want to say I want to classify $300,000 on up to be like as far as this is just income. This is not wealth. This is what I'm referring to income. Okay, so if you have debt, right? If you actually are holding debt, you actually are pretty much if you're holding debt, you actually are typically you don't have any wealth if your assets are basically below your wealth. Now I'm gonna make this really short today because a lot of people, I don't really hear it anymore too much, but I still hear it. People's consensus is everything is fine. I mean, I understand. People want to enjoy their life. They want to, spend their life like it every day as if if it's your last, right? People want to actually do what they want to do. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do what you want to do. Okay. But it's just consequences for doing what you want to do. And it's okay. It's just accept those consequences, but don't try to pretend like everything is fine. Like the water is not boiling hot, when it's getting warm. Like don't think that me the fact that the water is warmed is getting hotter and hotter and you feel it is getting hotter, that that is okay. Like that is a sign of delusion. I would also say that if you have delusions of grandeur, such as that your actual lifestyle is high, or you're doing fine and stuff like that, I would say that you should sit down and talk to someone like a therapist, because actually when you are delusional or you have ideas that are not in sync with reality, that is basically something that is a form, it's a psychological block. And a lot of psychological blocks, they lead into basically failure in life and also financial failure. Okay, so I would second anyone that is having those hangups to, yeah, if you got insurance or if you got someone that you could um talk to about that issue, because a lot of people have not even said, I've never even really said that actually you should go see a therapist if you have issues with understanding reality per se, because basically that's one thing that also that wealthy people do. They actually go, they have therapists that are kind of uh, they're basically therapists that are financially give like financial advice to a certain extent, or they, like for example, people actually go back to school and they'll, like for example, get a master's in social work after they already had, a bachelor's in finance, so somebody like that, right? They can actually kind of start a niche business where they are also a social worker or a therapist, and also can give financial advice. A very good example of this is if you ever watched the Showtime series Billions. Actually, is a very good example of that in a character that is a social worker. She's, I mean, well, a therapist, and she actually gives advice or asks questions related to these, high level stock traders, so yeah, so I kind of was just, impromptu today for the most part, but it's nothing other than the usual. But I saw a video today that was very good. And it's a lady that I actually subscribe to. Actually, um I don't even think I'd subscribe to her, but she is very good. Actually, she has very good advice. She also actually has. I think she's also a trader, investor, such as myself. But she has very good advice, and the video is short, and she basically is talks about. The video title is "The Five Stages of Financial Independence," and it's a very good video. It's short. It's like 10 minutes. Um, the reason why I want to show you this video is because I want to let another person show you exactly what I'm telling you and tell you even better. Because basically, what her advice is very similar to my book that I write, Millionaire Savings Plan, but she actually breaks it down to a very beautiful level as far as like where you are at today with debt and everything like that, to down the road, basically getting to be financially free and everything like that. So one thing I'll say is that she doesn't say anything about you should eat rice and beans. One thing about this video, her advice is not you should eat rice and beans and rice, and basically cut your neighbor's grass and everybody on the street's grass to make like an extra 20-30 dollars a week or day or whatever. Not saying that you shouldn't do that. You should always try to make money, I advise anybody to have more than one stream of income. I mean, basically have one of everything if you can, because having just one thing is just too close to zero to me. Okay, so like I say, her advice is not anything to do with like you have to fully 100% deprive yourself of everything in life and everything. I mean, she just basically mentions that you have to cut back on some things. But Anyway, I'm gonna share this video, and I want you to watch this video and actually um you know you know tell me, or just take notes about it, and just enjoy it, as far as write down verbatim what her strategies are. It's very, very good advice. I just want you to watch this. After this video, I'll wrap it up, I'll talk about it, and that's it for today. So let me share my screen here. So let's see here, share screen. Okay. All right. So we're gonna start with this. This lady's channel is Investing with Rose, the 5 stages of financial freedom. Okay, let's get
Hey, I
started.
want to talk to you about the 5 stages of financial independence. When you hear the phrase financial independence, you might think of someone who has millions of dollars set aside and sips pina coladas on the beach all day. But that's not true. There are actually multiple definitions of financial independence. When I was still climbing my way out of debt, my definition of financial independence was really simple. It meant not having a monthly payment anymore. But now that I'm finally debt free, which by the way, I talk more about in this video right here, I've been reflecting a lot on how I'm going to define financial independence going forwards. That's when I realized that financial independence is a journey that actually happens gradually over multiple stages. Sometimes you'll have to spend years and years at each stage, but once you pass the first stage, you move on to the next, and then you just keep going until you become totally financially free. And over time, your definition of financial independence is going to evolve. So without further ado, here are what I think are the 5 stages of financial independence. The first stage of financial independence is survival. In this stage, you make enough money to cover your own bills, but you're living paycheck to paycheck and you're not really saving enough or able to get ahead. You have enough to live on, but you're very dependent on your job because you don't have any cushion. So if you don't get paid, you don't eat. What's very typical of people in this stage is that they have a very negative net worth, meaning you don't have anything in your asset column, so zero savings and investment.
I.e., you're broke. Okay, just to let you know that. I mean, um, you're financially inadequate. I say broke because it's a lot simpler. But if you wanna sound intelligent, you're financially inadequate. Or to make you feel better, you're under financial duress. Okay, I don't know.
And you may have a lot of liabilities: personal loans, student loans, credit cards, car loans, etc. Your cash flow is tight and it's only enough to pay the minimums on your debt, which means your debt is going down very slowly, if at all, and you're not able to save or invest towards your future. When you have no assets and a lot of liabilities, that means you have a negative net worth. This is very common when you first graduate college. Like, you get an entry level job, you probably have a lot of student loans, not a lot of money saved up. So this is a very typical first stage for young people just starting out. The only way to get past this first stage is to find a way to create surplus in your budget. That way you have something to work with in order to increase your net worth. So
Fair
if you're in
use.
this stage and you want to advance, you have to find a way to either increase your income and or decrease your expenses. You can increase your income by getting a side hustle, getting a pay raise, or just simply working more hours. And you can decrease your expenses by moving to a cheaper place, eating out less, even moving in with your parents if you really want to go extreme. So things like that. Most people are able to get beyond the first stage just by reviewing their budget and being a little more intentional with their spending. Of course, if you've already cut your expenses to the bone and you're still stuck at this stage, then your only option is to look for ways to make more money. Check out this video right here for some ideas on how you can create an extra side income working from home. Once you're no longer living paycheck to paycheck and you have a surplus of money every month after you pay your living expenses, you have reached the second stage of financial independence: progress. If you're at this stage, you are already ahead of the 78% of Americans who are living paycheck to paycheck. At the progress stage, you're able to save money every month and or pay more than the minimums on your debt. So your assets are going up as a result and your liabilities are going down. meaning your net worth is improving. When your net worth is going
I'll put her channel information in the description, by the way.
up, that is a clear financial indicator that you're moving in the right direction and that you're actually making progress instead of running in place and having nothing to show for all your hard work at the end of every or close to zero. You've got some assets in your asset column, maybe 1,000 in your savings account, 5,000 in your 401k, stuff like that. And you've still got liabilities like student loans, car loans, things like that. However, they're going down quickly because you're making extra payments towards your debt every month. At this point, if you lost your job or you had to stop working, you would be financially independent for at least a month or even more because you could live off your assets for a while. This is a good place to be. Now, the third stage of financial independence is debt free. I reached this stage not too long ago and it feels amazing. To get to this stage, you've been diligent about creating a surplus in your budget and using all of that to make extra payments towards your debt. In this debt free stage, your net worth has finally become positive. You have zero liabilities because it's all paid off, and you may have some assets.
And then here's the thing, shout out to the underrated darkness. I mean, here's a guy, right? You know, he's not he pretty much owns his mistakes, or I mean, basically his problems in life. The man has a disability, right? Okay, he even on he got like on, I think, one of my lives, he came on. It was like, it was the one that's like 3 hours. We talked about this and other things. The man pretty much he told me something, that because my I was aiming really high. My goal was to, like, actually, like how her final the final fifth stage, right, that she's going to be talking about. But basically, if you get on this step right here where you're debt free and you just, like, have, in her case, a positive net worth of $6,000. I mean, a lot of people are not going to even ever get to this point. And the reason why is because they don't even recognize that they in debt, or even try to even deal with it. So they people will live their whole life and be in debt because they don't want to earn it, because they want to kick it with the girls or kick it with the fellas, pop bottles, and charge their little cards, and you know spend their little debit cards and everything like that, and then slowly basically keep theirself in debt, in bondage, literally. And it's like, a lot of people ain't gonna never even get here. So what underrated said was that basically, if you got $10,000 net worth, you're doing good. Okay, I mean, you're doing excellent. Okay, because a lot of people, like, let's just face it, not too many people are gonna even be in this category. I mean, basically, you'll be like man, in the like less than 20% of the population, with having a positive net worth. I mean, because here's the thing, and I get it, right? Some people, okay, let's go back to the whole, the four types of men and women. Okay, you got the dummy with no money, the rich dummy, the man, the man with no money, but intelligent, the intelligent broke guy, whatever you want to call it, or let's just say the smart guy with no money. And then you got the smart guy with money. Okay, so a lot of people actually will live their life aspiring to be the rich dummy, basically. So they'll basically, I could tell you, if you want to know how to be a rich dummy, I could tell you right now. Okay, if you can write the notes down, be as dumb as you can. All right, open up a business line of credit, start a business, and then you can literally open up business lines of credit. You can open it up for 100, 200, $300,000, pay it off, then get more credit, $600,000, $500,000, and then go and it's a secure debt. So they can't come after you. There's no law against it. I mean, at the end of the day, the worst that could happen is that they'll levy your bank accounts, or they'll try to come after your assets or anything like that. But you can't go to jail for it. So you can have a negative bank account of $800,000, and you'll be the rich dummy, right? So you can go buy you a little mini mansion, you can go buy you a Maserati, a freaking BMW M5, all this other stuff, and you'll be the dummy with money, right? That's all you got to do if you want to be that person. And a lot of people, that's what they're aspiring to be, because they following these dummies with money. You know what I'm saying? So they getting even further in debt where they'll never get out of debt. Because another thing is that you can file bankruptcy. And then some guys will do that, they'll just file bankruptcy and then just start over. But a lot of them, some debts you can't file bankruptcy, like, that being said, and then another thing is that I mean, it's a whole bunch of ways you could be a dummy with money. But people generally would just basically, what they'll do is they'll get a house that they really can't afford. They'll get car loan because they want a new car, right? They want the newest car that, basically came out no less than a year, 2 years old. Uh, and the wife has a car, the husband has a car, the side chick got a car, brand new car. So the guy, he's paying the wife's car note, he's paying the side chick's car note, he's paying his car note, and then, what I'm saying, he's got the credit cards, he's got uh he's got to pay probably child support or something like that. He's got all these bills, right? But he lives in a good neighborhood. He's stressed out, but nothing, a little scotch little scotch or whatever, nice little cigar when he comes home. And he lives in a nice subdivision, suburban lifestyle, massive debt loads. You break it down, he's in debt to the eyeballs, right? But he's like, in his mind, I live in a nice basically subdivision. I got a big old house. I got a 5 bedroom house, 2 bathrooms, actually 3 bathrooms. I got a 2 car garage. I got a brand new Hellcat. My wife's got a Mercedes Benz truck. I mean, my side chick, she even got her a Beamer or something, and it's all on borrow, off credit, right? I mean, so in his mind, he's looking at it like when he gets in his car, because he got a job. I mean, he got a job. Probably been working for 10 years, but basically he in his mind, he's looking at it like, and there's a lot of people that live like this. They have this in their head. These people literally think that, I'm not making this up. Like, a lot of people live like this. That's why people sneak watch. They don't subscribe. They don't join no Patreon. They ain't planning on doing nothing, no support, but they watch because they know it's true, and it stings them, because it's like when you wake up, it's like the Matrix. Like, when you wake up outside the Matrix and you got all of these little things tied up on you, and you're actually feeding, all these other people to get rich off of your ignorance. They know it's wrong, but you know they it just hasn't hurt them to a point yet that they want to actually do something about it. only a few will actually do something about this. Okay, people will literally, live like this for the till they go into their grave. They won't even get to this stage three, let alone four and five. I mean, you know, that's why this woman or whatever, Investment Rose, this is like, when I saw this, I was like, oh my God. I mean, she broke it down and gave like literally a doctoral dissertation of basically everything that I've been saying from like the last couple months. I mean, people literally have that lifestyle, and a lot of people have that lifestyle, and it's based off of credit. You get rid of the credit system. Let's say basically, the Congress pass a bill, all loans come due in full next month. I mean, they had to give all the cars up. They had to give all the houses up. Literally, where would these people go when you break down how much cash they have, how much cash on hand they have? They have little to no cash. Everything's credit card, loans, personal loans, everything like that. So these people will have to go back into the hood, and then you know what'll happen? The hood, the ghetto, it actually won't be the ghetto anymore. It'll be like expensive, very, very expensive to live in the ghetto, because that's all these people could afford. Like, I got on somebody else's channel, and I told them that I bought some property in Gary, Indiana, and they were saying bless your heart, or talking about Chicago, the south side of Chicago, bless your heart. But the thing about it is, this is the mindset of this type of individual. This is the consensus mindset, because don't get me wrong, I like the fact of building your credit. I mean, I'm all for building your credit, and actually it's not necessarily bad, because like I said, I broke down the rich man formula, the rich man mortgage formula. If you could actually get a house in a very good neighborhood and then pay it off soon, and just use the power of getting that property through credit, and actually paying it off, not in 30 years but 10 years or 15 years, yeah, and you actually get the title and the deed, yeah, that's powerful. I mean, you could actually use that, like she's saying, to actually hedge off of your debts. You can sell the house, and then use that money and pay off your debts, and then actually just start over and just try to get another house, or just buy a house cash, or just it's a whole other world that opens up with you when you're debt free. But a lot of people will not get there, unfortunately, because most people's mindset is that of a borrowed lifestyle. I mean, I'll go into that. Um, I'll go into that probably Friday. That'll be my topic Friday for Finance Friday, the borrowed lifestyle. Because I'll never forget that when I was installing cable, at this guy's house. He had a mansion. Yeah, I'll say it's a mansion. It was like up northern Illinois. I mean, but I was just, I just couldn't help to notice. I was looking at his wife's desktop computer screen, and the QuickBooks was open, and I literally, it said like minus $5 million. And then I'm hearing the guy, when he comes home, because we had a hard time getting the cable up and running, he's talking about, yeah, I had to file bankruptcy, and then the AV guy wouldn't give me the remote control codes and blah blah blah, because I had to file bankruptcy or whatever. So it's like a lot of these people, they live these borrowed lifestyles, and it's basically a front. It's a rouge of basically no different than people that are in poverty in the ghetto, that play a game of who does poverty better. Well, rich white people also play that same game. They just play it in the suburbs, in the rich neighborhoods. They don't really have the cash to move in those neighborhoods. They just get real good with credit. It's people that's just really good with credit, and it's legal. But it's just like I said, it's the whole dummy with money type of game where you using credit to try to get capital to get in debt, and then use the bankruptcy law to basically come behind it. Don't get me wrong, I think the man probably makes some pretty good money. I don't know how much money the man make, but I can tell you this: I did see that -$5 million on his QuickBooks, you know, and I don't know anything about the address or who the person is and all that. So I mean, this is just basically a story that is covered in secrecy and all of that. But I mean, I ain't naming names or addresses or even where the town where the person's house was. But this is a true story. I actually saw this, and it just goes to that. So yeah, I'm gonna move further. I mean, it's only a few about 6 more minutes, but like I say, ain't no not too many people even gonna get to this step. I mean, even myself, I got way more student loan debt than $15,000. I mean, it's gonna be a lot of hard earned nights where I have to put fork over about my $1,000 a month to get this 60K off of my back. I mean, I or I'm gonna have to buy a whole bunch of real estate and offset it, to pay off the student loan. Hint, hint, wink, wink, offset. Okay, because that's actually a financial term. Because that's basically what I was telling some other people that basically um were let me see what's going on here.
In
Okay,
your
yeah, we
savings and
still,
investment independence
yeah, like
was really simple.
uh,
Negative, you could live off your
so that's basically what I was saying to these guys that was talking about getting out of debt. Like you could offset your debt to where you could buy assets and more assets and then pay off the liabilities. That's what I meant by that. And the term is offset.
I wouldn't count your mortgage as debt because it's offset by the value of your home. Meaning, if you sold your home today, you could pay off your mortgage and have some money left over. So, when I say debt free, I'm talking consumer debt, the kind that isn't offset by a corresponding asset that would be enough to pay off all of that debt. So, I'm talking student loans, credit cards, things like that. In this stage, since you no longer have monthly payments, you have a ton of free cash flow to save and invest. It is a really great place to be because once you're debt free, your net worth can grow really fast. Before reaching this stage, I always felt like this bird that was trying to fly but had ankle weights just keeping me to the ground. And now that I no longer have debt, I have all this extra cash flow to really pursue my financial goals, and I feel like I'm ready to soar. After this debt free stage comes the fourth stage of financial independence, which is growth. By this stage, you've accumulated a lot in savings and investments, and because you don't have debt and your monthly cash flow is more than enough for your living expenses, you are able to keep adding to your savings and investments on an ongoing basis. If you're in this stage, you have a high positive net worth, meaning lots of assets, maybe 15,000 in savings, 60,000 in your 401k, 20,000 in a Roth IRA, and so on and so forth. And you don't have any liabilities unless it's a home, which means it's directly offset by the value of your home. You also have a full-sized emergency fund with anywhere from 3 to 8 months of living expenses set aside. You also have investments in stocks, bonds, real estate, and these investments are constantly growing and throwing off passive income. This passive income, which comes in the form of rental income, dividends, interest income, just go back to buy more and more of those assets so that you just keep getting richer without actually doing any more work. The growth stage is where I'm currently at, and it feels really awesome. It is amazing how much faster your net worth grows and how much easier it gets once you don't have any debt tying you down. And now for the fifth and final stage of financial independence.
People on Instagram are making huge money from their posts, and it seems to be a big secret that most normal people don't know about.
Freedom. This is when your finances are so solid that you could quit your job today and never worry about money again. In the freedom stage, you have enough in savings and investments that you could live off of this investment income for the rest of your life if you wanted to. In the freedom stage, your net worth is very high and very positive. You have a large amount of money in your 401k, a lot in your IRA, HSA, and even a lot in your taxable brokerage accounts. Even though most people think you have to wait until you're 65 years old or just really old to get here, that is not true. You can get to this 5th stage of financial independence much sooner than that. And that's certainly what I'm planning on doing. That's what the whole FIRE movement is all about. Financial independence might seem like this unattainable dream that could never happen to you, but I'm here to tell you that it is doable. As long as you set financial goals for yourself and you keep your expenses down, increase your income, get out of debt, and save and invest as much as possible, you can and will move through each of these 5 stages of financial independence. Doesn't matter how long it takes. All it matters is that you're moving in the right direction and going from one stage to another. What you don't want is to stay stuck in that first stage forever. Doesn't matter where you are now. What matters is that you advance. Personally, there was a time when I never thought I would get past that first stage of survival. I was living paycheck to paycheck in tons of debt, huge monthly payments. And at the time, financial independence to me just meant not overdrafting my checking account until the next payday. One day, I got fed up with living that way, and that's when I made a plan to get out of debt, make a budget, and start investing so that I could upgrade my definition of financial independence. That's when I got out of that first stage and got to the second stage. And now I'm at the 4th stage. I really never could have dreamed that it would have happened in just 6 years. So whichever stage you're at right now, don't judge yourself for being there. Doesn't matter how old you are. Just make a plan for how you're going to advance to a higher level of financial independence. And just do it one step at a time. As long as you keep going, you will reach that ultimate dream of financial independence.
Yep. So there you have it. I mean, she very intelligent lady. Um, basically explained everything down to the T of what I was already saying. Um, basically that you can't say that you're not broke no more. She pretty much told she explained that basically, you broke. That's why you watching my videos. That's why you're here. My thing is I'm not trying to talk down on you. I just want you to understand that this whole asset over liabilities movement has to grow. It has to be something that you think about, because resources is something that, like, I'm gonna play another video that I saw today. So this is another one. This is from real short. It's like 2 minutes. Okay. So this is what is from Dr. Boyce Watkins, and it's basically a short video of just one word what you need to do from now on. So this is a short one.
If someone came to you and asked, "What are you invested in?" would your answer be about mutual funds and money markets? Or would it be mutual relationships and farmers markets?
All right.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. I wanted to take 1 second to give you guys something that I picked up today when I was interviewing on Dr. Boyce TV. I interviewed Dr. Claude Anderson, who's the author of Powernomics and Black Labor, White Wealth. And Dr. Anderson's about to go on the Breakfast Club in about a month, less than a month, actually, right after Thanksgiving. And I'd been in correspondence with Charlemagne the God, who's one of the hosts on the show. And we talked about, topics that he could hit on, things like that. And so one thing I asked Dr. Anderson was, I said, if you had 5 minutes to talk to 10 million, 5 million Black people throughout the country, throughout the world, what would you tell them to do? And he used one important word that I want you to keep in mind, and the word is resources. He said that we should acquire resources. We must acquire resources. We must acquire resources. That the number one challenge in terms of inequality, economic inequality in America, is the misallocation of resources. Because Black people were enslaved for hundreds of years, 99% of the resources went into the hands of white Americans. Now, for a reparations plan, a big percentage of those resources should go to Black
resources, not resources based off of necessarily getting a loan to get resources, I mean, if the balance sheet is right and you got a plan for a loan to get something, I don't really have no qualms over as long as you plan on paying it off. Long as your end goal is that you can actually get that property title, from the banks that you actually paying for that, and you can get it in your hand, and you're not paying so much that you paying three times over what you should normally pay for it if you have cash, because that's what you do when you get a mortgage for 30 years and you actually pay 30 years of a payment, because you got too much expensive of a house to actually pay it off, and then you didn't progress financially to actually make more money to actually just pay it off. If you end up paying 30 years, you paying three times for that, close to three times what that value is. If you don't if you don't understand that, go back and watch one of my videos. It should be um probably Finance Friday, my first Finance Friday video. It's in there. I broke down what you would pay over a 30-year time for a mortgage. I mean, basically, all you got to do is put in the amount of the house, and then times it by the interest rate of the mortgage, like 3%, 5%, 2.8%, and then times it by 360. That's 30 years. Okay. And then that'll tell you how much you're gonna actually pay for that property for a 30-year mortgage, and see how much of a sucker that you'll feel after you see the numbers. But I mean, yeah, resources. I mean, basically assets. Okay. Land. I mean, with land, you could do a lot of stuff with land. You could build trees. I mean, you could build like oak trees, or start an oak tree farm or a redwood farm or something like that, or pine trees, and actually sell trees. Like literally, you don't have a clue how much money you can make selling trees. Okay, you can actually start a farm where you sell strawberries and tomatoes and cabbage, and just sell it to restaurants or grocery stores and make tons of money just having land. Okay, have some type of greenhouse. You could actually even just start a little small farm if it's really, really remote and is no laws against it. I mean, a lot of things you could do with land, okay? But nonetheless, whatever it is, if it's land, if it's trailer parks, mobile homes, houses, apartment buildings, it's resources, material. It just, you know, it's the end all be all. But I'm gonna finish watching this
people.
one.
But just in case that does not happen, just remember that one of the keys to wealth and power for anybody, especially a young person who's trying to get ahead, is to consistently obsess yourself and obsess your family, obsess your children with the acquisition of resources. What does that mean? Well, the acquisition of resources comes down
Assets.
to the acquisition of land and property. The acquisition of resources comes down to the acquiring of stocks and bonds. You can buy stocks through apps and things like that. We can show you that in the Black Business School. The acquisition of resources comes down to the acquisition of and the creation of businesses. Every black child should know how to start a business by the age of 12. So, if you want to know what I consider to be one of the most important words in all of economics, it is the word resources. So, you want to acquire resources. Resources are capital. Capital generates income. Income generates wealth. So, if you want to get ahead, if you want your children to get ahead, if you want your family to get ahead, obsess yourselves with that one important mandate, which is the most important mandate for the 21st century for all of our people, which is the acquisition of resources. If we all do that and we commit ourselves to that like a culture, like it's a religion, just acquire, buy land, buy property, buy whatever you can, buy stocks, buy bonds, little stuff, big stuff, whatever you can do, then I guarantee you that wealth will dramatically rise in the black community. So that's it, guys. Hit the thumbs up button, hit the share, hit the subscribe button. Also, I'm doing a seminar at the end of the month with attorney Nicole Compton on how to form the perfect estate plan, how you can not just acquire the resources, but also pass them on to your children, grandchildren, without anybody taking that stuff away. Because that's the problem Prince and Aretha Franklin are having right now, is that a lot of their wealth is being taken. So we want to make sure you guys have the training on that. She's an attorney. She's very, very good. It's going to be great. So if you want to join us, go to drboyceseminars.com. That's drboyceseminars.com. I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Peace.
Okay, there you have it.
Online
Okay,
dating.
there you have it. Now, I mean, my thing is why I focus on wealth and resources and assets over liabilities, all of that type of stuff. Reason why I do that is because that is my way of coping. My way of coping is to gain wealth, okay? Attain wealth. If you got money, if you got wealth, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna get all the women. You ain't gonna get all of everything and all that. It's just basically you dealing with, your own inadequacies. That's just my coping mechanism. I mean, some people have their own coping mechanism and how they deal with the life that they live. But my coping mechanism is actually dealing with my financial problems. Focusing on wealth attainment. Strategies, goals. That's just what I do. I mean, I that's my coping mechanism. I mean, in this world that it's this country where you have to deal with so much, with being in the state of basically police and all this stuff and all these racist stuff that you have to deal with. My coping mechanism is get wealthy. That get as wealthy as I possibly can, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? I can't say it anymore. Financial inadequacies. We all have to deal with it, and once you deal with it, you dealt with it. I mean, you could talk about it. I dealt with it. Now you become a person from the other side, and you could talk to people and coach them. You could, this is the okay. As far as I could see, financial inadequacy or dealing with financial inadequacy and everything like that. This is the number one topic. I don't care anything else about anything. This is like the number one topic. The second topic is over just losing weight. Like, right now I'm trying to lose weight, man. I took the whole photo with the mirror, and 30 days from now I'm going to try to take another photo, and I've been trying to cut my diet, try to exercise, minimize, what I eat. I mean, these two things, if you can try to get into these formats, like if you a good personal trainer, man, you can make so much money now because there's so many fat people. It is ridiculous. I mean, I told a friend of mine, he's a real skinny, like ex boxer, weight trainer dude. I said, man, why are you not in personal training? It's so many people need help out here. It's ridiculous, and they want a personal trainer. They looking for a personal trainer, and you ain't gotta sell them that much because I mean, you could just one thing about being obese or being fat, you can't hide it. I mean, you can have waist trainers and this, that, and the third, but you can't hide that. Now, with money or financial inadequacies, yeah, you can hide it a little bit, but I mean, you can't hide it with me because I know the language of financial inadequacy. We're doing all right. We're doing okay. Yeah, we get by. We ain't get, I ain't rich, but I do okay. All that type of talk. I understand that talk. And then I understand that people have loans. A lot of people are below basically minus net worth. They have a minus net worth. I understand this because statistically the statistics don't lie. A lot of people are in debt. Okay, the average student loan debt is about $60,000. I'm not saying everybody's got that, but a lot of people are in debt, because a lot of things is based off of this capitalistic system, and it's fed off of debt. So of course a lot of people are in debt, okay, because it's marketed to you on a daily basis. So you can't really hide it from me. I mean, you could dress and have all kind of fancy stuff, but at the end of the day, you can only play that game for so long. You can only act for so long until, everything gets folded, out in front of you, till you basically just, up and just fall and have a heart attack because you trying to play this game for so long, and it just your body just shuts down because it's like it tells you, you're not paying attention to me. You're trying to play this game where you got what you trying to portray that you have something that you don't have, and it just eats you up, and yeah, I don't play that game. I learned that a long time ago. Don't play that game. You are broke, own it. You are financially inadequate, and you need to have a budget. You need to stick with it, and you need to have a plan. In my book, The Millionaire Savings Plan, it is part of that plan. It is basically deals with debt. It deals with, basically being financially free and also becoming wealthy. So once I did all that, you know, um, basically when I was in my sister's basement and I was walking around and I was trying to come up with a way because I knew I wanted to be rich and I knew I didn't want to be a burden on my sister. When I did all that, my life forever changed. I literally changed overnight because I became focused on, basically, all right, I got my budget, I got the debt that I have, I got to pay, once I get my, self together, I got to pay my debts off. I'm looking at my last debt before my medical bill that I have, and then all I got is my student loans. I don't have any credit card debt or auto loan debt. I mean, once I mail this last payment off, I got one medical bill that's like $1,700. Then I have my student loans, and then basically, you know, every month we boxing. I mean, I'm gonna start probably with like $500 a month, and then once I, get everything settled with my house, I'm gonna probably most likely amp that up to about $1,000 a month, and get that off of me. If I can make some more money, buy some more houses, and then just pay my student loan off in full or settle, that's it, and I'm getting this off. And then, basically, man, once I do that, I'm gonna reach out to, individuals like that lady that was in that video, Invest with Rose, and I'm gonna be shouting to the bullhorns. If I could do it, you definitely could do it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. I mean, if you are in debt, basically, I ain't faulting nobody. I just want, my whole thing is I just want you to own it. Own your strengths and your failures and deal with them. Because I want people to be financially strong. I don't want them to be financially weak or financially delusional. I want everyone to be, winners, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, that's all I have. I'm not gonna talk you to death. Basically, yeah, man, own your financial inadequacies. Say, no, I can't go out. I don't feel like it. I don't really have no money to kick it. I can't loan you any money because I really truly don't have it. You want me to show you how much I don't have? You want me to show you my net worth? Like, I mean, just own it. You know what I'm saying? And then people will leave you alone. They'll stop bothering you, or they might even talk about you. But who cares? Because 9 times out of 10, they asking for money for you. They in a worse situation than you are. They broke too. You know what I'm saying? So it's just an ownership thing. That's all. It's just like, losing weight. I mean, you gotta tighten up and work on your, problems. That's all. I mean, I hope this is beneficial to you. This is Broke Genius. This is Wealth Wednesdays. Next is Finance Fridays. See you later.